Hello, and welcome to another Wargame replay with me, Rangaroo. And today, it's another 1v1 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord Elite Tournament. And well, in this match, on the left-hand side in blue, we have ourselves Krot, playing as a classic Euro core. And on the right-hand side, we have EsMussSein, I'm just going to call him Sein, playing as a classic Finnish Polish. So two powerhouse decks going up against each other. T-72s, Leopards, Clerks, Polish helicopters, Finnish blokes, all sorts of things on such a classic map such as Paddyfield, where it's just two, not narrow, but two focused checkpoints. Of course, you have the nice hand left side, where you've got the uphill advantage, but Sein is going to be rushing right up here, Venom 17. But there's a Krot nearby, and he does not like helicopters one bit. You know, if he can land, nick of time, doesn't matter if you land, you just get shot by the Panther. But we've seen a pretty heavy-duty rush up here from Sein, trying to get onto the high ground, rushing Yukaris and all sorts of Finnish blokes up into his hillside. You do have some French infantry here, but not a lot really. I mean, the Panthers are... yeah, they got shot down with the anti-air. I was thinking they fell back, but no, they went kaboom. A good use of smoke to cover the initial advance, but the main thing is having the T-72M run there, as a heavy armor is going to give him quite a bit of fire support. You know, if he can just get eyes on the AMX and actually blow it up, it'll definitely help out. Just getting into Kari's close enough, but T-72 taking some hits here from the Legion 90s Arixes. Really don't want to get close to an Arix, it will mess you up in there. T-72 going to be backing off, which is probably the safer move. And then down south, just small skirmishes, we're seeing a little bit of flanky play here from Krot. Getting a mortar mortar APC and a recon unit on the southern river side. I always find it funny with Wargame maps, there's just so much dead space on the flanks. Like, you could have like an entire another battle up here. Well, of course, this is how the maps worked in Wargame. Right, this is like a... you can do this up to like 3v3, I believe. It's like Israel instead. But I can't actually make the map smaller, so they just have all the dead space. Sein has managed to almost make a foothold onto our all-important Alpha Town. If you can hold you onto Alpha Town, then you have a pretty good shot of capturing the rest of Alpha, as you can funnel up reinforcements through the Bravo Forest here, get a CV in here, and then just use this as the main holdout crossroads. You can actually get reinforcements up into the hills from both sides. Legion 90s are holding on really strong here as they're dancing with the Jakaris. I think Jakaris just have enough firepower to beat them out, yo. Yes, they do. And that is going to be part of Alpha. Under Finnish Polish control there. Krot bringing in some reinforcements, some Panzergrens and Marder 2s and some more French infantry. Yeah, that's this, like, Tiger 2 here. Not really doing anything. He's been landed for quite a while, having a bit of a nap. May want to try and get his arse in the air to help out a little bit, because we still have a pretty big push here from Sein, bringing more Jakaris through the forest into Alpha here. And again, that T-72, if he can get it into a firing position along the edge of the forest, preferably when all these blue full infantry are blown up, I mean, you can then just deny any reinforcements coming into Alpha. The real main junction. Well, seeing a heavy push here of Panzergrens and Legion 90s, some pretty fierce infantry. And I think Krot will just have enough fire support to beat back at Jakaris. I mean, the Marder 2s are not to be messed with. Some light helicopter play of the Mi-17, and here we go, the Tiger's finally woken up. Start pouncing on the Jakaris here. There is still some anti-air nearby. It's pretty nasty anti-air too. Gonna be... is he landing? Or is he just changing altitude to get into the smoke? Yeah, he landed. Yeah, the smoke's gonna cover him. Yeah, so a pretty good counter-attack here from Krot. There's quite a bit of infantry in the initial engagement, but yeah, as that T-72, he could get a Panzerfaust 3 shot on it. And it is almost dead, only 4 HP left, so yeah, even Legion 90s can obviously blow it up with the Arixes. EsMussSein wants to be very careful with that tank. We also have a Laboratory 1 here. And yeah, if he gets into that forest, he should be able to get a shot onto that T-72, especially on those charioteers. And a charioting to your death, yeah. Yeah, down south things are, of course, pretty quiet. All of the fun, all the action happening up north in Alpha. As Krot is trying to re-secure his high ground. Raj coming in. Shoots down the enemy plane, yeah. Yeah, his push from Krot has really just rivered away. All his core fire support units kind of ring kaboom. And all his infantry also ring kaboom as well, which is not ideal when I'm trying to do a push. That's gonna give Sein some time to get some reinforcements back into Alpha. He still controls the top right town, which is also vital, but we are getting some infantry reinforcements from Krot to try to secure the top left town here. So we're gonna have the battle of two towns. And we do have the Spike team here. I'm going to try and sight in the finish ray. It's just a bunch of random letters put together. And some numbers as well. If anyone knows what this actually means, there's probably someone Finnish who's watching this. Please let me know. I'm guessing it's some way of saying anti-tank guided missile in an abbreviated form in Finnish. It just doesn't seem like real letters or words. Yeah, the push has been forced to fall back. We are seeing some artillery from some M270 LRMs. Those long-range, well, missiles, rockets. Doing some long-range work. He's knocking out a supply truck here. Pretty good. Oh, chasseurs, what are you doing? You're chasseuring the wrong way. Go back to the town. You're just going to get picked off out in the open here from Zakaris. And the 1 AMX-13 ain't gonna be all that helpful. Yeah, see, yeah, we have a bloody, Leclerc and a Laboratory 1 here, south of Alpha. I'm guessing he's reinforcing infantry reinforcements to clear the forest before moving in those rather heavy-duty armoured support. Not something you want to be throwing in willy-nilly. He's gonna be getting some AMX-10s for some recon as well. Actually, yeah, some more down south here into Foxtrot. Actually seeing a little bit of movement here. EsMussSein is going to be a little bit of a scouter maneuver of Zakari. He's probably going to run into some chasseurs and not have a good time. Seeing another helicopter landing onto the hill. This one should go a little bit better than last time. It does manage to get the Polish infantry out. There we go, Leclerc finally moved in that Laboratory 1, gonna be hanging back for now. And now Leclerc's gonna be a pretty big pain in the arse. The T-72 M1 can definitely take it on. But always, super heavy tank fights, it's a risky proposition on both sides. Krot is trying to get desperately into that forest, moving some chasseurs. It is mostly clear on the outskirts, but of course the deeper you go, the scarier it gets. Yeah, EsMussSein actually going to be using his Spados to try and capture the top left town. It's a very good idea if he can get it onto the edge here. Any reinforcements that try to come along, they're gonna meet some nasty machine gun and RPG fire. If he's, I'm not even trying to say the name once again, Finnish recon infantry can getting close to Clark. Probably kill it with 1 or 2 rocket hits, I believe there is. So yeah, it's pretty nasty. Oh, it's an alright rocket launcher, I guess. It'll take a bit more than 1 or 2 hits to blow up the Clark. The MX-10's helping out in a pretty nice fire support position. Laboratory 1 gonna be picking up slack for the Clark because he's taking a bit of damage there. Mirage chasing down the MiG-21. Neither side is. Oh, I think the Mirage went down. Yeah, that's. Yep, that's definitely a dead Mirage. So the MiG got, I think, also anti-air support got the better of him. Krot is just trying his darndest to get into his forest, but the Finns like holding forests. They're very good at it. It's just a real pain. And then now he's moving Laboratory 1 completely unsupported by himself, and there's a pretty nasty T-72 in here. And down it goes. He really does need to get some, I think, more heavy artillery support to just pound his place to hell and back and then push into it. He's just taking heavy casualties. He does have the M270, that would be a perfect target for that thing to go and blast. I've seen some more Panzergrens and Marders, some more Chasseurs. And yeah, Sein's got a pretty good defensive position in there now. He's got 2 tanks, he's got a bunch of infantry. The main thing, if he can just get a T-72, I think it's almost in a position to, I mean, he just has to move forward and shoot any reinforcements. He's in a good spot. Same with that Rogue. He's in a lovely spot. Fortunately, the Marder 2s can survive a little bit of a pounding, but not that much. And yeah, now it's just going to be a huge pain in the ass to get into that forest. I mean, he's going to have to fight out mano to mano with his Leclerc. It's going to be a pretty tricky proposition, especially against a tank and a defense, and also only outnumbered. Even though the Rogue, I believe, is not, if I recall. No, not the XA-17. Yeah, the Rogue is just a mediocre, medium Crotation-like tank. Even though it's technically just the same model of tank, just less fancy. The Russians made, I don't know how many models of the T-72, but it definitely seems like they made more than enough. Again, a second Leclerc here, so really liking that French general. It's really what he needs to try and make his post happen, as it's going to come down to the armor fight. But the Rogue has backed off, the T-72 M1 is, yeah, he's backing off for repairs. Seen some smoke, the M270 just pounding the town a bit, not going to be doing too much here. A second barrage onto Bravo. Might be able to snipe a supply truck? No, he does not. The rockets do not aim true. You're asking a push onto Gopher. A really sneaky push, as there's nothing really defending it. I mean, that Milan F2 probably risks he has a little bit more missiles. Or anything to really shoot at. It's just infantry right now. But the AMX-10s and also his Crick Panther might be enough to just keep his force at bay, as no anti-air nearby, so a few good rocket hits can pretty much knock out an infantry squad or two, and the AMX-10s can just shoot anything that comes across in the open field. But we are seeing all flags of smoke being dropped. And cover at advance. That's one thing I always love about watching these Wargame replays. It's goddamn use of smoke. It's always fantastic seeing it. Especially when people use smoke, and they smoke behind their super heavy tank. So if their super heavy tank gets in a nasty situation, they just reverse into the smoke. It's such a good tactic. It almost makes you risk. Let's get back to the fight here real fast. As the clerks are engaging. Trying to get an eye on the T-72. He's going to move up, but he has a second Leclerc. And it's a pretty tough fight. Who's going to get second shot? It's going to be Leclerc, and there we go. That's all in vital kill that Krot needed. There we go, smoking his super heavies. And make sure he run this. Nothing for you to shoot here. So just die. And die he does. And he hasn't lost a single Leclerc in that fight, and he has not much supply, but he does have some supply left. So he can repair and rearm this, and now he pretty much has the armor advantage. He is pushing into the forest here. There's not that many Jakaris left, so capturing the forest is at least one step in the right direction for Krot, and he really needs it because he's losing by a +2 right now because Charlie and Bravo and Foxtrot are under control, and he really needs to try and get a CV under Alpha and Goaf. CV under Goaf is going to be a bit of a risky proposition as it's not really many places to hide it. You pretty much just put it here, but there's some Angry Fins, or you put it here and it'll really close to other Angry Fins, so kind of close. It's going to be pretty tough. He still has to dig out the town over here, and he still has to dig out the rest of the forest. I think the forest he'd be able to clear in just a few minutes or so, but up here is a little bit more of a tricky proposition. He's going to need some more heavy infantry reinforcements, and that seems like what he's doing. Position the M217 to a position to rocket the crap out of the blokes. There you go, Krot has almost captured, I mean he's got Alpha controlled at least on the CV. He just has to deal with his last pocket of resistance. And having the 2 Leclercs is definitely pretty big, but takes a pretty nasty rocket hit, but missile hit. It does need a really wait for that supply to come up before engaging with those Leclercs, but he's going to engage anyway. Fortunately for him, the spike MLI is almost out of ammo, or it's not almost, it is completely out of ammo. Apart from the assault rifles, but the assault rifles ain't going to do much against a tank. It makes 10 of his trying to scare off this late mechanized puss. Hey, autocannons are kind of scary, who would have thunk? Actually run, are you trying to rocket run the Krotau? Trying to do a blind rocket run, yeah, but Krot manages to micro the Krotau out of harm's way in the nick of time. And the MiG does get away. Probably helpful that the Krotau's were, well, this Krotau down south was out of ammo from Spencer's last missile and didn't hit. He had one job, yeah, Krotau. But the clerks are getting a bit of R&R. And Krot has a pretty good position on Alpha now. He just has to clear out the small little ATGM team. Really have enough to do a push into Bravo. That's a bigger question, I think. He does have some infantry reinforcements being brought in. He does have the armor. I feel like he needs a bit more infantry and mechanized forces to really make a successful push into Bravo. As tanks aren't that important over here. It really comes down to artillery and infantry. And Sein has that in spades. Well, infantry, I haven't seen too much in terms of artillery. We do have MacMat, or the... No, that's 120 mil. I was thinking of the other Finnish big artillery mortar piece. It's like the Israeli one. But no, that's just a pretty standard mortar piece. And both sides are doing some positioning. A bit of artillery here from the not ATGM, but the rocket MLRS, if I can get the actual acronym right. Trying to peppy out Southern Forest, yeah, I guess because there's a Krot and he was being a pain in the butt. And Krot has decided to relocate to this nice little factory district. You're also seeing a push from Sein, trying to position himself into Foxtrot and Golf here. I think if you want to make a bigger push happen, you need to get some sort of armor support. You are seeing the push up north. Satyrs heading downhill. But there's a lot of angry Finns, and they are not really happy to see any Frenchmen in this neck of the ridge. Maybe they'd be more happy to see some Germans, we'll see. An ATGM plane here, trying to go after the grouped up the clerks. Rocket run misses. I think he's mainly just trying to draw missile fire, which he does. But I think he loses line of sight, and yeah. Will the SU-22 get out, yo? That's the question. The answer is yes. The MiG-21, not so lucky. That's what you get for flying a MiG-21. You know, I've seen the push onto the village. We got a second ATGM run, doesn't hit the clerks. And just out in the open, just gets completely peppered by machine gun fire. Panzergrenadiers are pushing through, but they're not having as much luck. That's a pretty close fight. But there's really not going to be much victor, and there's only one guy left. And the clock does go down, yeah. I think, yeah, T-22-1 mod gets a pretty good hit. He's just pounding away at his advancing Frenchman. Comes the SU-22 going in full of Clark. Gets one missile hit, but he has an angry F4 and he does shoot him down. Pretty fortunate that Clark wasn't on lower HP. He probably would have died. And hey, his push on to Foxtrot here from Krot is going pretty well actually. He's got fire support coming south of the river, and there's not really much here from Sein. Just a few infantry. I mean, it's mainly just the T-72-1 mod jets are paid in Gulf, but he's not in Foxtrot, so we'll ignore him for now. We do have a rogue in Foxtrot, and that, I mean, it's not the scariest tank in the road, but when there's no other tanks nearby, it might as well be the scariest tank in the road. Everyone's just bloody smoking. But it is still looking good for Sein. The main thing is that there's only 13 minutes left and he has a pretty large point lead. So he doesn't have to push. He doesn't have to capture any more territory. He just needs to hold. And 13 minutes to hold with this much of a point lead is pretty comfortable. It's really going to come down to Krot like capturing Golf and Bravo really. And potentially neutralizing Foxtrot to really make that push happen. He does have a CV being brought into Bravo, so that's to give him a nice plus run. He needs to get a second one to go for ASAP. But of course, the problem with buying CVs is, well, 120 odd points that you're spending is not going towards units that make people go kaboom. And you kind of need to do that to capture territory. I do like the Jakaris in this flanking position here. If Krot ever decide to go on a little bit of a detour, he's gonna really face the law. But yeah, Krot has got a position on Foxtrot, yo. A pretty decent run at that. And mainly the clerk here is gonna be a pain in the butt. He really just needs to start getting some CVs. And I think his push on to Golf is gonna deter him a little bit from doing that. Oh, we have a CV on Bravo here from Sein, so trying to keep it neutralized, which is all important. And Leclerc going at it, the T-72. Firing at the T-55, yo. Oh no, he doesn't have eyes on T-72, only T-55. Oh, there we go. They're shooting each other again. But the rocket artillery coming in clutch. And the stun Leclerc is not going to be a useful Leclerc. And it becomes a dead Leclerc. So, very important kill there from Sein, as that will allow him to try and retake some... give him a little more leeway in recapturing Foxtrot, as there's no real heavy armor yet to stop him. And he's trying to flank his Jakaris. And Krot's in pretty much not a good position and out of ammo. Probably a good time to fall back. Gonna run into the Vab, but the Vab does not like rocket launchers. We're also seeing the CV being brought in ASAP, probably to try and neutralize Foxtrot. He still has this area under his control, but it's literally one infantry bloke and a anti-air missile system with no, well, only one missile. It's really just a matter of time for Sein to clear up the rest of Foxtrot. Commando Marines coming in clutch to help reinforce the position. And no more real advancement I think is going to happen in Bravo. It's too much of a slaughter to really push in that area. It takes really too much time. As is all infantry meat grinders. He's trying being pretty peaceful by missing all his shots. Yeah, it's really not looking good for Krot. There's only 8 minutes left. He has to catch up on over 200 points. Pretty nasty proposition. He's just getting artillery down back by those MLRS, if I can remember the acronym once again. Got two T-72 Rilks here. No real... Well, we got Leopard command tank. Not too much heavy armor. Not really heavy armor to be thrown on the front line to begin with. But he's going to be moving out onto Gulf. And then just looking at this, I doubt that Krot can really take the Bism back, so try and just speed it up. He's still trying his best. He's getting that CV onto Foxtrot to neutralize it and putting the Leopard TV up. But yeah, he's just getting harassed by ATGMs, yeah. Trying to maneuver himself just behind that building. He took those ATGMs like a champ, to be fair. Sein's going to be able to clear through the rest of Foxtrot, find the CV, and really kill it. I mean, it might be a good idea for that group to get the group out. Maybe he's going to bring in the Vab to try and transport them out. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Here comes the cavalry. Pretty clutch, yeah, that was pretty clutch. It's also one of the very few times I see someone actually re-embark infantry onto a transport. And that transport, it wasn't even an original transport, yeah. Random APC that was lying around. But he's going to be able to get it back onto Foxtrot here, but it's just not enough time. If he had another... I want to say if he had a knife for 5 minutes, he might have. But at the same time, Sein is being pretty aggressive here. I need to unload the CV at least, you'll do some pressure seconds. There we go. So much smoke. I got the Rooks. And the 2A1's going to be getting pretty close here. Legion 90 is definitely going to help out. Oh, what are you doing, Rook? You're going to go through smoke and there's not going to be much left of you when you reach the other side. Bonjour. Yeah. Actually, yeah, I think definitely if Krot had another like 4 or 5 minutes or so, he could actually win this because he's got the momentum now. He's pushing on to Goth. He's going to be getting the CV out very shortly. And Foxtrot is pretty much clear, almost, of bad dudes. But the main thing, of course, is that early point advantage out from Sein, and he can just sit back and laugh. He's going to win this. Yeah, it's a pretty heavy push here from Krot, but not going to be enough time. Yeah, he got pretty close towards the end, at least. Only a 70th point difference. That is going to be a good game, yeah. And Sein getting the victory, even though at the end he didn't get the kill advantage. Does he losing out on a 1,000 kill difference? But I think that's just all the losses really came towards the end here as Krot went into high gear mode, getting all his leopards and panzergrans and other fancy Euro core infantry. But good match from both sides. Definitely a very successful rush early on from Sein, completely disrupting Krot's line in that northern sector and really just holding on to that for as long as he did. Definitely gave them the point advantage in that match. But yeah, just good bloody match from both sides. And yeah, I'm leaving it up there. This has been another Rangru cast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, please just take it easy.